All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some seriously fascinating spiritual texts that tackle, honestly, one of history's ultimate mysteries. Why do highly advanced ancient civilizations collapse? But look, this isn't just some dusty history lesson. The source material actually draws a direct line between the ashes of the past and the trajectory of our modern world today. It's a pretty urgent warning, so we're going to break down exactly what these sources say about why these great societies fell apart, and, well, how we might avoid doing the exact same thing. So, you gotta wonder, why did incredibly advanced societies like Mu and Atlantis just completely disappear from the map? It's a question that's captivated people for centuries, right? Were they wiped out by some random natural disaster? Or was there some kind of deep internal catalyst for their destruction? Well, according to the source material we're looking at today, their erasure wasn't just a geographic accident. It was actually the result of a very specific, catastrophic shift in their society. Section 1. The mystery of ancient civilizations' collapse. So, the texts claim to reveal the real, hidden reasons behind these historical collapses, starting with the civilization of Mu. And the text points out that Mu didn't just start out in chaos. Actually, quite the opposite. It flourished. It saw immense prosperity, and the texts say this happened precisely because it was deeply rooted in spiritual devotion. They were guided by the divine teachings of the god La Mu. Essentially, their entire foundation was built solidly on faith. But then, over time, a really tragic shift happened. Early Mu was all about that deep spiritual devotion. But as time went on, and as their science and human intellect started to grow, the society developed a massive over-reliance on those things. That pure faith that literally built their civilization, it started to slip away, setting the stage for their ultimate downfall. Section 2. Common Factors of Mu and Atlantis. Now, what's wild is that this pattern shows Mu wasn't just an isolated incident. The text introduces two really crucial concepts here: machine faith and reason faith. It defines these as an extreme over-reliance on technology and human intellect. It's basically the tipping point where human intellect entirely replaces belief in the divine. The people got so obsessed with their own scientific progress that their original faith just vanished. And according to the sources, this loss of faith, driven completely by technological arrogance, is identified as the absolute core reason for their collapse. Let's track this trajectory by looking at Atlantis. Because just like Mu, Atlantis started with a divine foundation. Then, boom, extreme technological advancement. The text even mentions they reached a scientific level where they were pondering space travel. But right at that exact peak of scientific achievement, this machine faith took over. Their spiritual faith plummeted, and that triggered a total civilization collapse. It's like reaching for the stars, ironically, caused their own destruction, all because they lost that spiritual balance. Section 3. The crucial difference from space beings. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The documents actually compare these failed human civilizations with successful extraterrestrial ones that are currently visiting Earth. According to these spiritual messages, these advanced space beings have technology that is vastly superior to ours. I mean, way beyond our comprehension. Yet, they maintain an unshakable spiritual faith. They haven't let their hyper-advanced science destroy their belief in the divine. And because of that, they've achieved a perfectly balanced, enduring civilization. I really want to emphasize this comparison because it is essentially the core thesis of the text. On one hand, you have past Earth civilizations. High tech plus lost faith equals total destruction. On the other hand, you have these advanced space beings. High tech plus unshakable faith equals lasting prosperity. The source material uses this to prove a point that scientific advancement absolutely does not require you to abandon spirituality. You can have both. In fact, the texts argue you literally must have both to survive. Section 4. A strong warning to modern Earth. So, how does all this ancient history connect to us? Well, the stakes for our present day are incredibly high. The texts include a specific recorded passage where a spiritual entity identified as Metatron delivers a very direct, very harsh warning. The document outlines how the exact same spiritual illness that infected those ancient societies is right now sweeping across modern human civilization. The diagnosis for today's world is laid out pretty clearly here. The source text asserts that modern Earth is showing the exact same fatal symptoms as late-stage Mu and Atlantis. Think about it. We are leaning so heavily into science, artificial intelligence, and human reason, while at the exact same time, authentic global faith is rapidly fading away. The text neutrally, but very firmly, observes this parallel, suggesting we are basically entering our own era of machine faith. And this brings us to the ultimate cautionary message from the source material. The text explicitly warns, and I quote, "If the teachings do not spread, modern civilization will become like Mu and Atlantis." According to these documents, without a massive resurgence of faith, and the text specifically point to the teachings of Lord El Cantare here, we are doomed to repeat this whole cyclical collapse. It presents a stark choice, really: restore our spiritual balance or face the exact same erasure as the ancients. So I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. As our modern technology reaches for the stars, literally just like Atlantis once dreamed of doing, what's going to happen to our society's soul? Based on the fascinating texts we've explored in this explainer today, will we actually manage to maintain our spiritual balance like those advanced space beings? Or are we just actively repeating the history of Atlantis? It is a profound question about the ultimate fate of our technological era. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this deep dive into the source material has given you a whole lot to think about.